to ShareTreck. It's 18th of January. This is our daily CRISPR update, and I'd like to start as usual with some good news items or news articles that can give us some kind of motivation while we look at this really bearish market where things are not looking great. So let's start off with the very first article. This is in Genomics Research, technologynetworks.com, and it talks about CRISPR-Cas9 tool that reverses insecticide resistance. So the gist of the article is that there are a couple of research students along with their professor in University of California, San Diego, who were able to do some CRISPR-Cas9 editing on fruit flies, and were able to reintroduce a gene to replace the one that makes the insect resistant to pesticides. So Tata Institute of Genetic and Society, TIGS, was also a partner in this research. And what this means is that in parts of Africa, for example, the potential is that in parts of Africa where most of the mosquitoes are resistant to insecticides, if they can also be handled the same way, we would have a new generation of mosquitoes which are more susceptible to pesticides, and therefore you use very less pesticides and you are able to control the population. So this is one way of looking at it. The other way of looking at it is to use CRISPR-Cas9 to modify the genes that allow the mosquito, for example, to carry malaria. I heard Bill Gates somewhere talking about doing that kind of research so that if those mosquitoes are released into the environment, they will breed and they will produce a strain of mosquitoes that do not carry malaria. So among these two approaches, I think logical sense is that if you can eliminate the malaria carrying portion of the mosquito, then it would be a much better and durable solution. Because if CRISPR-Cas9 is used to make a pesticide resistant strain of insect to be susceptible to pesticide, the whole evolution cycle is going to go on again until there are only those insects that can survive the pesticides are going to multiply, and our use of pesticides to control them will keep on accelerating over the years until we are back to square one, and then we have to edit them again. So the next news article comes from Cornell College, where they have introduced CRISPR editing to their students. So they have this one subject at a time kind of class where for 18 days the students work just on one subject, it seems, and CRISPR Cas9 editing was one of the subjects that they had introduced. So as it says here, during the lab, students introduced a mutation into E. coli's DNA using the new technology. Tepper said it was helpful to do this on Cornell's one course at a time schedule, where students take one class for 18 days so they could fully immerse themselves in the lab without interruptions. They could actually see what happens when E. coli's DNA repair system is inactivated. So the bacterial collection of historic viruses that had invaded the bacteria before is stored in its DNA, so that was removed. And as a result, the bacteria died. So they could see that by performing an actual experiment. And they also probably used the glowing gene, so that they used a color marker to determine if the gene was altered, so that they could show the students what had actually happened based on their actions. So yeah, this is very interesting, and actually students need to learn a lot. In our days, it was basically dissecting a frog or dissecting an earthworm and learning about the reproductive system, pulmonary system, and all that stuff. But CRISPR is the equivalent of that in the new days. However, this technology is much more powerful than dissecting frogs. So I would have expected that this kind of knowledge would probably be given at a research student level until the time that CRISPR becomes much more stable and accepted and starts delivering a whole lot of results, because any misadventures with CRISPR is just going to cause a big setback for the technology. However, I think maybe the educationists know better. This probably is the right time. And also having college students trained in CRISPR would definitely help in creating the right kind of people to work in the upcoming field of gene editing, which many of these CRISPR companies are going to look for. So all in all, it's a very wonderful development overall, and on the positive side of it. This shows greater acceptance of CRISPR and bodes well for the sector. So with that, let's get started. We can't avoid looking at the dreaded market anymore. So let's look at the VXN first. So if we see the VXN, it's pretty healthy right now. Each of these candles are monthly. So let me go off to the daily 1-day candle view, and you can see that we have really spiked up. We started very high on the VXN in the morning, and now we are coming down. So it's an inverted hammer out here, and yeah, pretty scary times in the market. We are up 10.77% on the VXN, and that has kind of hit the Nasdaq and brought it down 1.80%. That is 268.54. So we are firmly between the resistance which is at 14954 and the support which is at 14271.23. All the in chart indicators like the RSI momentum is very weak, and MACD is absolutely bearish. So it's not looking good. Where Bluebird is the worst performing and Vertex seems to be the best performing among the lot, and even the best performing is down 1.43%, that is $3.34. So it's a literal bloodbath out there. Let's just quickly look at these shares. We seem to be again at the very bottom. We are in uncharted territory as far as Bluebird is concerned. Create new resistance line and support lines. At this point of time, because we don't have any resistance and support, I'm going to draw the first, and I'm going to also draw a new resistance line which is going to track out here. So right now we are going to watch these two resistance and supports, one at 810, which is a weak resistance. It's just based on today's data, but just as a landmark to have something out there. Yeah, let us see if we can break through above this. By the looks of it, if you look at the indices, the indicators in the indices, nothing is looking positive out here, even though it seems that in the dark pool there has been a lot of purchasing, but overall investor panic is just compelling people to sell, especially those who are having huge losses and who are panicking because they don't want to lose the remaining amount of money that they have, and probably looking at moving from these shares into stronger ones like maybe Apple, Microsoft, Tesla and all, so that when the market turns around they can get that bump and recover as much of their losses as possible, and then probably come back again into the biotech sector if they are hard believers. As far as I'm concerned, I personally have got a negative holding on ARCG, and it has dropped further by 4.44 points, and I had bought it at a time when I felt that maybe it's already touched the bottom and it's not going to go down further. So it shows how fickle the technical analysis is. So that's my thought process. So let's go back to the biotech side. Now let's look at Editas. Editas again is these candles are all 1 hour candles, and we are in a slightly long term chart. This is a 3-month chart. We are on a firm downward bearish channel, and Editas again seems to be in a place where it has not been before. So the earlier possible support lines have now become resistance, and we are into new uncharted territories, and the next support is going to come at 18.20, and right now we are at 20.39, so there's a long way to fall. And if I was to go to the one day time frame, everything is looking short out in the indicators. RSI is down, MACD is down, totally bearish, not liking it at all. But if I zoom out into a 3-month time frame, even there everything is looking very bearish. However, I can see that dark pool has positive sentiment, so it's possible that some deep pocketed investors who can afford to wait are probably buying the CRISPR stocks in cheap. Let's look at Beam, which is down 7.09%, and again it's gone way below all the lows that we have seen so far. Let me go to a 5-year chart. So there are some new lows that I can look at. So this could be the new support. You can see that we have a long way to fall before those supports start clicking in. So maybe I should take some time and look at this chart in detail and plot some more interim support points. But right now, nothing is looking good. We can fall even more during the day. It's right now around 3:16, so another 45 minutes before the market close. So that could be some more drop in the value in beam. Let's go to PACB, which was something new that we had checked out, which was already way below its bottom. It's gone even further. So I wouldn't be touching this stock at this point of time. We need to watch for the VXN to start moving upward on a consistent, downwards on a consistent basis before we come anywhere near this. Intelia is down 4.72%, and we have this, let me zoom out further. We have this bearish channel in which Intelia is going, and we had this support at around 87.07. Today we are at 87.12. So that support is still holding out, but it's very, very likely that we may stay above this support because MACD is turning bullish and the momentum is kind of picking up. So I'm optimistic that Intelia is going to be negative, but it will be above this support line and we live to fight for another day. Let's go to ARCG, which is down which is down $2.54. That is almost 5% down. And we had broken through this earlier support, and I'm going to mark that as a resistance. And we are back into testing the support at 48.82. Right now we are at 49.03. It's a very tenuous support. The MACD is again bearish and the momentum is short out. So I would be really grateful if we stay above this support and end the day and maybe start tomorrow as a clean slate. And most probably tomorrow we might get a dead cat bounce because everything is beaten up so much that some investors or the others are going to start coming back again. And especially the memory of the market is that this is a place where you can start getting gains. That's why this is a support. So we can see a dead cat bounce. I wouldn't trust that until we have consecutive days of falling VXN and raising NASDAQ. Let's come to Verve, which is down 3.46%, and that's almost $1.13. It is still above our support, which is at 29.72, and it's tracking towards a resistance of 33.69. The MACD, which had turned bullish, is now coming back and running parallel to the signal line. So there's going to be some sideways momentum, and the momentum is also neutral. So it's going to move sideways before the end of the market, and we probably might end up with around $1 down today. And let us see how this holds on tomorrow. The dark pool, again, there is a lot of buying going on there, positive sentiment. Teladoc is down 4.48%, and we have a very bad MACD, bearish. Momentum is also very low, so nothing good is going to come out of it. So maybe a few more points drop before the close of market. Then we come to CRISPR Therapeutics, which is again having a bearish MACD, and also momentum is dropping significantly. We are struggling to stay above this support of 66.36, but we'll have to see whether we can persist. If we stay above that, I'll turn this line green and signify it as a support. But we have been below it throughout the day, and we probably came up because there was a rising momentum and a bit of movement in the MACD positive, but it's all turned around. So this $2.38 deficit might further increase before we close the day. Pfizer is down 1.76%, that is 97 cents. However, we are still above 53.50, which is our immediate support, and after that we have support at 52.48. MACD is trying valiantly to cross over the signal line, but I don't think that's going to happen before market close today. So we may probably end up with staying above the support of 53.50. We have the dividend coming up on the 27th of January, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference unless there is some other positive catalyst. Let's look at Regeneron, which is down 9.98%. That is $6.01. The MACD is trying to be bullish, but it's still in the bearish territory. We have dropped down two supports, one at 614.51 and another at 610.88, and right now we are at 609.23. So I'm going to mark these supports as resistances. We'll have to face these and cross them over before you can make any upward movement. Our latest support is standing at 605.81. Our MACD is bearish. It's trying to turn bullish, but I don't think we have enough time left before market close for that to happen. So I'll be happy if we stay above 605.81 and maybe reduce this negative $6 deficit and come down to maybe $4.5 or $5 before market close. Let me zoom out a little bit to look at the overall context. So in the overall context, I would say that we are kind of consolidating, but these two decreasing highs do not give me much confidence. And if I were to consider this to be an upward pattern and that we were moving this way as a bull flag, that didn't work out. So I am a bit confused what to expect right now, so I won't make any predictions on this one. But let's go on to Novartis, which is down $1. Let's go to the 3-month view. So we are still above the support at 89.29, so that's a good thing. But the 3-month time frame doesn't show much promise in terms of either the momentum or the MACD, both of which are bearish. So let me go to a 1-day time frame, and here we can see that the MACD is trying to go bullish. We have got around maybe 10 or 15 minutes left before market close. So I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll still stay above the support at 89.29, but maybe our negative might reduce a little bit, but it's neither here nor there. Things are not looking good for Novartis for today. We stay and fight tomorrow. Vertex is down 1.35%. In a 1-day time frame, again, the MACD is trying to go positive, but we don't have enough time in the market before market close for that to happen. Momentum has also shot up briefly, but I don't think that's going to make much of a difference. At the most, we may reduce a few, maybe 15 to 20 cents of the negative that we have here. Maybe we end up with $3 negative at the close of market, but nothing positive is being seen here. Let me go off to a longer time frame and try to get an overall context. So overall context, we are still looking at moving upwards. So if I was to take these 2 points here, so we are still looking to be in a bearish setup as far as Vertex is concerned. So I'm still optimistic that maybe tomorrow or day after we'll start our movement upwards. So Vertex has got a lot of promise, and I think that's what is likely to happen maybe the next market day or two. And we have our earnings also coming up for Vertex on 2nd of February. So let's hope some positive things happen here. Overall, I would say that the market is looking bad. Going back again to the indicators, let us look at VXN and see where it is right now, what the hammer looks like. So going back to a 1-year time frame. So if we look at this as a daily hammer, so yeah, it's not looking that great. No, it's not looking great at all. So let's hope for the better tomorrow. We need all the major risks to be resolved. Our tapering has to go off. Our interest rate hikes have to be digested. So it's a lot of pain. I'm sorry to sound so pessimistic, guys, but that's all I got for today. At least the interest rate and the pandemic gets resolved. Something has to give for the market to pick up. Sooner rather than later, everybody is going to sit up and take a look at this market and say, guys, we got to do something different. So we have to improve something. And that's exactly when the volatility will start going down, and things will start improving. And we are a long way from there. I don't know what's going to be the catalyst for that, but just buckle up and stay for the ride. So I'm sitting and watching. I'm not doing any purchases. I'm not doing any sales. I'm just watching. And hopefully we have an opportunity to buy some good CRISPR stocks at a major discount. Apart from the ARCG purchase that I made a few days ago, I'm not doing anything right now. So that's where I am. Again, these are all my opinions. Please do not make any investment decisions based on my opinions. These are for your educational and entertainment purpose. Please do your own due diligence before you invest in shares. And investing is particularly risky in a volatile market, so be very careful. So that's about it for today, my friends, and see you in the next session. Bye for now.